Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be part 2 of rebuilding the ESX server. I think I finally figured out a way to upgrade the X5560 Xeon CPUs to ESX version 6.7. It ain't pretty, so let's dive in and get our hands dirty. Okay, welcome back. Part 1 was an absolute disaster because I failed to check the hardware compatibility list for ESX version 6.7. Turns out, after a bit of research, VMware decided to kill support for the Xeon 55 and 5600 CPUs. Very annoying. There is a hack that is proven to work on the 5600 CPUs. Unfortunately, I'm running a couple X5500 based CPUs in my ESX server, and that is proving to be a bit of a pain in the butt. I am going to try a workaround that a lot of people have said works on the 5600s. I'm not holding a lot of hope for it working on the 5500, but the worst that happens is I'm wasting my own time. So, pursuant to that, I have spun up a vCenter server on an ESX server that's hosted in VMware Workstation on my desktop computer. Yes, I know, it's very nested and nowhere close to ideal, but I couldn't store the vCenter server on my ESX server because, or at least my R710 ESX server, because I can't push updates out from a virtual machine to an ESX server if that ESX server has to reboot. Just doesn't work. So now we're here at this stage. I've looked up a few articles. We've looked at a few things. Right now, if I go to host updates here, you can see my ESX 6.7 update 1 is listed as incompatible, even though it's an upgrade. We're going to see if we can't finagle things and get it to work. But yeah, let's dive back in. This is part 2, and we will see if we can actually upgrade the server. Okay, so the first article I found was actually on the humblelab.com. This guy had a 5600 CPU, but still a Dell R710. He went through a lot of the same pains that I'm going through where, it said that it was not compliant and incompatible. He tried the offline bundle upload. That's something I've tried with limited success, but I'm going to try it through vCenter now, and we'll see if that works. Let me just power off my gateway. So there goes the internet, and power off my Active Directory controller, which is all my internal DNS. And while we're at it, the spam filter. Okay, we've got everything powered off. I'm actually going to start the updates without sticking the server into maintenance mode. I mean, it's not recommended, but I figure the system will take care of maintenance mode when and if necessary. So, just poking around here, scrolling through, he goes to his baseline and he says remediate. So let's go to this baseline, hit remediate. We accept the terms of the upgrade. Let's see what the pre-check does. It says no actions to be taken. That's awesome. Remediation status ready. Let's hit remediate and see what it does. %7 in. I mean, that's not a bad sign. 8, 9, toast. And as expected, host is incompatible. Okay, check scan results for details. So it's probably because of the CPU. I'm not surprised. One of the things that the Humble Lab suggests is running the update from the command line. So we're going to try that. And I've actually looked up another article here on somebody's blog called Tech Adventures, Daniel Lumby. So thank you, Daniel. You're going to provide some guidance here. You certainly went through a lot of steps. Daniel went through actually modifying the installer and then modifying the installed file system. I think I can install ESXi with the command line bypassing the CPU checks because we're going to do an update instead of an install. And then when the server reboots and does its pre-check to see if 6.7 can be implemented as the gold image on the install drive, we're going to unplug the drive before that reboot, and then we're going to come over here and we're going to start modifying the couple of files that Daniel suggests and see if we can't get rid of that CPU verification check on the first boot. And if we can do that, then I think we can get this server upgraded to 6.7 on a 5500 series CPU. So let me get this process started, and you can watch along and fast forward, and then we'll see if I can declare success or not. Talk to you guys in a few minutes. -P, that's for profile. We've got a profile name out of the XML file. So, I mean, all things fair and equal. So what the update command does is it's going to go ahead and compare all of the VIBs or the VIB files on 6.7 versus 6.5. It's going to upgrade a whole ton of 6.5 VIBs to 6.7, which is essentially upgrading the software on the OS. While that runs, I'm just going to slide that onto another monitor here. Just going to go back through here. So his summary of steps is once we've got use the USB and install ESXi onto the target machine. That's his modified USB. We're hoping to work around that, all those steps. Once installed, remove the hard drive, plug it into an Ubuntu machine, find the drive that contains the b.boo file, and overwrite it with our modified b.boo file, remove the hard drive and plug it back into ESXi. We have to copy files b.boo and weasel into desktop, extract b.boo, open this file in a hex editor, search for the hex string this, change it to that, save, and gzip it back to an archive called b.boo. Okay, so we do have to do some of these top steps, but we're cutting out a lot of the nuisance of putting it into an install image. Ooh, okay. So this is a very intimidating screen. Our update looks like it might be done. So down here we've got skipped VIB files. So they're random things that aren't really specific to the 6.5 OS. This is a list of all the VIBs that have been removed. This up here is a list of all the installed VIBs for the 6.7 update. And if we look at the top here, the message says the update completed successfully, but the system needs to be rebooted for the changes to take effect, or be effective in this case. Reboot required, true. So we've hit a point where we need to reboot. First, we're going to create our modified b.boo file. I'm going to try and do this in a Windows environment. I am not a big Ubuntu fan, so we're going to see how that works out. I am going to back up the original b.boo file so that in case things do go south, I can just copy it back to the USB, and hopefully that'll allow it to fail its boot up and revert back to the 6.5 image. Okay, so we're rebooting the machine now. We've copied our modified b.boo file, and we'll see if this thing boots up into ESXi 6.7, or if it's going to complain about the CPU again and boot us back to 6.5. I've been this far before. It's initializing. We're going to just force the boot. It's going to go through, load all the files. Notice the first one up there, the b.b00, the b.boo file, that's the one we modified. We will see. Error verifying signature. We're okay with that. Oh, look at that. VMware ESXi 6.7. This is update 1. I mean, this is the furthest I've gotten with this so far, and I spent a lot of hours trying to get this to boot. So now the big question becomes, does it load? Or does this loading screen fail somewhere? It looks like we're booted up. Okay, so now that we're back, I have pulled up vCenter here. I see that we're not responding on our ESX host, but that's a bit to be expected. And of course, because our AD is down, our DNS on the vCenter isn't going to work, so we're going to have to load up Active Directory first. So we'll log directly into the ESX server and just, we're not going to join the customer improvement program. I'm going to go here and power on our Active Directory server. And here's our first problem with forcing an upgrade. Failed to power on the machine, the host does not support virtualizing real mode. The Intel VMX unrestricted guest feature is necessary to run this on an Intel processor. Click for more detail. I'm going to guess this is going to apply to everything. Yeah. I have created a host entry for my vCenter on my local workstation. Good. So I ran into a major issue. As you saw, it wouldn't let me turn on a machine because of some stupid error that after some research looks like it's a feature that's loosely implemented in the Westmere or the 5600 series Xeons. It's hit and miss apparently, and then everything after Westmere has this feature. Obviously, on a 5500, I'm on Nehalem, that doesn't have it. There is nothing online about how to fix this for ESXi. That brought me over to Movaxterm, my SSH session, and I started running through files. This is a mixture of a fix for VMware Workstation and ESXi. What I did is eventually I found my way to the /etc/VMware directory. If you open up the config file here, you'll see here there were originally 6 lines. I added a 7th. And that 7th line says monitor.allowlegacycpu equal true. After I did that and I saved the file, uploaded it back to my ESX server, I didn't even have to reboot the server. It allowed me to power on my OTP server. It looks like we actually have a successful boot. It took absolutely forever. So if I, let's say for example, turn on my Active Directory server here, I'll come over here. I like this console terminal much better than opening up a brand new tab. But I guess vCenter, because I've got Workstation installed right now, I can say open up the remote console, it'll use Workstation, it'll open up a new window. So you can see it's black. It looks like it's doing nothing. In fact, the first time I tried turning on the OTP server, I thought it was doing nothing. But there you go. You give it a bit of time and it will turn on. The problem is it's extremely slow to get through the BIOS. And that's probably because I've done my little hack there to enable booting on a server that really shouldn't be running this version of ESX. But for those of you running 5500 series CPUs, certainly this looks like it could be a fix for them. Okay, so that brings the upgrade of ESX to 6.7 to an end. It was dirty, it was annoying, it was frustrating. I can't tell you how happy I am that it's over. So, now that we're done, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you know when we post another video. If you didn't like what you saw, leave us some comments, hit the thumbs down, and we'll make sure to take your criticisms into account for the next video. Thanks guys, have a great night. We'll see you next time.